Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to L-TAC Cup Series presented by Tucson Sound Art. It is the championship round. 6 drivers battling it out to get the championship here for the L-TAC Cup Series. We are now at the 2.5, a little bit over 2.5 mile course actually we're at the 2.5 mile course of Daytona. Was thinking we were at Talladega for a second there, but we are here for super speedway racing for 80 laps to start out the round of the championship drivers. Those championship 6 being Holden McGill, Jeremy Berger, Joseph, that of Grant Peterson, Logan Hamilton, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin. 6 drivers with 3 races to see who's going to be winning out in the championship. It is going to be a blast to see. Super Speedway Racing to start it all off. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Wesley Allen, running productions, Carlos Acosta. And Wesley, we're here, Super Speedway Racing on LSRTV. This is our second Super Speedway race. We had some racing on Wednesday night, but we now get to see 20 drivers getting set to tackle this course to see who can start out the best in the first race of 3 for our championship round.
Yeah, ready to go here tonight for the M8200. It is, again, 2.5 miles around the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Almost 31 degrees of banking. These drivers are going to be climbing them up. We're going to see, obviously, super speedway racing at its finest. The bump draft, the pushing, the shoving that's going on. They might play nice at the beginning, but somewhere down the line, that patience factor is going to go. And these drivers are going to send it to see who can be the winner. And obviously, it's not if you win the race, you win the championship. This is a best of a 3 or 4 race series, and they accumulate the points just like a regular point season with those 6 drivers that are fighting for the championship in the round of 6. And, of course, the championship 6 now. And, Samuel, whoever can survive Daytona has got a great opportunity on their quest to win this championship.
Yeah, you can start off on the best starting point. Only 3 races for this round. Our first 2 rounds we had were 4 races long, but we're trimming it down, taking 1 race out. And for this championship round, we're starting it out here at Daytona for the M8200. Then we go to Iowa for 228 laps, finishing off this championship round to figure out who's going to be hoisting the championship for the L-TAC Cup Series. It's going to be at Darlington. A lot of different aspects we're going to be seeing here in these last 3 races, but it is certainly going to be a blast. 10 seconds left in practice, and then qualifying, where drivers are going to have 2 laps to put down the best time possible. And Wesley, based on what we've seen at super speedway races with this new cup package and the way the aerodynamics are, you want to be the car up front.
Yeah, you certainly do. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you stay up at the front of the field, you have a better shot of being there at the end. You get stuck mired is what our colleague, or what Jimmy Spencer used to call retired NASCAR driver the snakes patch, and you're up in that groove and you're up in that pack. You have more of a risk of getting involved in accidents, getting stuck, and having a chance for your night to end early. If you can stay up in the front, you got a better chance of getting to victory lane. As qualifying is on course now, we are set to lock in the field for the M8200.
Bonus points the drivers are going for. You've got stage points for the top 10 during stage 1 and 2 can be gained. Also, other bonus points you can grab, the pole position. 1 bonus point can be grabbed here. So very important to get up front for our top 6 that are running for this championship to have a good run for themselves here as drivers getting themselves ready, moving up to the high to middle lane, trying to build up that speed on this warm-up lap. And usually we see that also on the first lap, Wesley, trying to build up that speed so that second time around, you got the maximum amount of speed to really conquer this course on your last qualifying lap.
Yeah, we're watching here qualifying as they work their way across the start-finish line. We'll see what all these drivers can do here. Remember, you're going to take your best lap of 2 qualifying laps, and that will determine where we go. This is 200 laps. This is now Hamilton at the front, and we're looking now at Stone and Deal right now, the top 3, as qualifying has begun. 200 miles, 80 laps, which is basically, Samuel, the equivalent of an ARCA Menard Series event here at Daytona, and it will fly by quickly. I mean, this is 200 miles. I know it sounds like a lot, but 80 laps on a 2.5 mile is not a lot. And you've got to get up and go. And that's one of the things that we will notice here, Samuel, is 80 laps. By the time we get to halfway, which will be lap 40, you're really going to see the intensity pick up as we see now Benjamin on the racetrack. Butcher Benjamin, the Mountain Dew colors. We'll see what kind of a lap he can turn, as right now everybody's trying to bump Flores as he'll go to the top of the board of the 23.
Frank Flores, top of the board for the 23, not racing for a championship, could be snuffing out some of our top six that would love to get that one bonus point. Other bonus points that can be grabbed is also 1 point for leading the most laps on top of our stage points that can be grabbed. Ryan Dingler now going to be on top of the board with the 8. As looking at these drivers right now, I mean, the pressure certainly has now hit its maximum for a lot of these drivers. You do not want to have a falter here at Daytona, but like we've said on Wednesday a lot, it's not a if the big one happens, it's when it happens, and your goal is hope that you're not a part of it once we see these drivers have a carnage happen super speedway racing.
Butcher Benjamin there is the #1 machine. We're still watching these cars work around here. I believe we said there's about 20 cars, 20 plus cars here ready to go.
Yeah, looking about
Daytona.
20. Which, here at Daytona, now got teams that have to figure out how to work with one another. You got, drivers, and they're going to try to figure out how to make their teamwork be at their maximum. Coming into tonight, got to think of the Badger Racing team, Holden McGill, that of Grant Peterson, also Anthony Musati, who's going to be coming back and racing here tonight. He's missed most of the playoffs, and also Ryan Dingler, part of that 4-man team. But the biggest team coming in going to be that from Dirty South Racing, which they're missing a couple of their key drivers that they usually have with them. Not seeing, looking like Stephen Parrott's going to be showing up, which was one of those key factor drivers that could really have changed an aspect of this team. But everyone else part of that group, Logan Hamilton, that of Colin Stone, Kyle Green, and Jeremy Berger finishing out that Dirty South Racing group. Those are our two major teams to watch out for as qualifying less than a minute to go. And currently, it's Joseph top of the board. And man, quick time for himself as Holden McGill not able to beat out his time. And we're now watching on board with that of Anthony Musati, who's going to be putting himself, parking it to the inside. Looks like our field is mostly set. Drivers that feel like not putting down a time, that's going to be Richard Springer and Kevin Franks. And both those drivers decided to park it for now, but 12 thousandths of a second, Wesley, is the difference between first and second. It's looking like Joseph getting our pole position here as qualifying coming to a close. No other driver is going to be able to put down a time. 20 drivers in line, ready to get Daytona racing to start off this championship round for the M8200. As we bring up the grid for these drivers, Wesley, 20 drivers, it is going to be a lot of work throughout tonight. 2 stages in total on lap 25 and on lap 50. As here is your starting grid. Gonna be that of...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, all good. It's going to be Joseph with Holden McGill to his outside. They have Emerson Arden going to be in 3rd position for row 2. Taylor Butcher Benjamin going to be in 4th. Frank Flores, as well as that of Barrick Uphold, going to be for row number 3. Row 4 going to be that of Kyle Green. Colin Stone to his outside. Then you got that of Logan Hamilton and that of Grant Peterson finishing out row number 5.
Moving on to row number 6 on the grid, we're going to find the first, we're going to find the drivers of Kyle Green. Kyle Green is there. Wow, he jumped up, changed it. Logan Hamilton will be there as well. I'm lost. Sean Deal. You showed the top 10. My apologies. Sean Deal in the 44 will be in the 11th starting position. Brian Huntley for Wolfpack is in the number 19. Now we're called up. I'm not used to this grid. Then it's going to be Logan Hamilton followed by Grant Peterson, the 12 and the 52. Sean Deal, Brian Huntley, we talked about that. Then we got Ryan Dingler in the number 8 machine. Stephen Purcell in the 57. That is row number 7. Row number 8 will find Anthony Musati in the 49. Jeremy Berger in the Burger King Have It Your Way car 97. That will make up row 8. Row 9 on the grid will find Ryder Schroff in the 17th position, car 58. Robert Pattengale in the 33. And the final row of 20 starters will be Sam Dyer, Richard Springer in the 6, and Kevin Franks in the 98. There you go.
And last row again, drivers that decided not to qualify, which for some drivers, that is the goal at the first, parts of this race. Survive until the end if you want to go for a win. But for our championship 6, they've got to make sure that they are running hard and making sure that they are in positions to gain as many points as possible. These stage points going to be massive for Jeremy Berger, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Logan Hamilton, Joseph Josen, Holden McGill, and Grant Peterson. Those 6 drivers got a lot to worry about. And you're going to see on our ticker, the drivers in green. Those are your championship 6 drivers that are going to be battling it out here for these last 3 races. Wesley, I mean, we've been seeing how it's been changed. Like, this is a completely different playoff kind of system than what we're kind of used to seeing now currently in NASCAR. But I'm loving the fact that there is no win and you're in for the other rounds. And now it's all who can be the most consistent for these final 3 races.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it too. I mean, bottom line, you gotta be able to be there at the end. And if you can play your cards and be there, you got a chance of winning the championship. The thing is you got to make sure that you're consistent. And I think that's one of the things I love about this race for the championship. It is about consistency. It is about being consistent and playing your cards and staying out of trouble. And if you can do that, Samuel, you have a great chance of being the champion when it's all said and done. 80 laps is the distance. Like we said, it is going to be an exciting race, 200 miles. But again, you got to have strategy. And most of all, I know I said this in introduction. I know I said something about the patience is going to go, but you've also got to have patience because you got to know when to say when to go, when not to go on different parts of the racetrack. It can affect you. It can hurt you. So these drivers have got to know when to hit that loud pedal, when to try to make a move, when to be aggressive and when not to, because it could be the difference of success or failure here tonight at Daytona.
Yeah, and right now, drivers heading into pit road. This is a procedure to make sure drivers know where their stall is. As previously, earlier in the playoffs, when this system wasn't in, saw a lot of drivers miss their pit box back at Talladega. And this is a great way to let drivers know, hey, get a sense. Okay, this is where my box is. So when you make those pit stops, know exactly where to place yourself. And also these drivers, the pit window going to be anywhere from 18 to 20 laps, meaning that these drivers are going to have to make a pit stop under stage 1 and 2. They cannot race it to the end of either one of these stages. So the pressure's on to make sure that they have a good run here. As stage 1 going to happen at the end of lap 25. Stage 2 at the end of lap 50. As drivers are getting set and lined up, just got the word for both that of Joseph and Holden McGill. They beat out the previous record for qualifying. Previous record was a 47.747, and the new record that has been set by that of Joseph is going to be that of a 47.719. which also Holden McGill beat out his own time, but going to be second on the grid as they're going through 3 and 4.
Getting ready to work their way for those final couple of moments before this field gets ready to settle their way into the starter's box. Again, 200 miles, 80 laps, the distance on this 2.5 mile here at the virtual World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. The pace truck entering turn 4. That pack of hungry 20 warlords virtually behind them, ready to send the pace truck onto the pit lane. Samuel Dyer, we're ready for the championship drivers to begin their quest at Daytona.
Green flag gonna be out in the air. The M8200 is green, as it's gonna be Joseph getting a massive shove from the 51. Arden wants to get both the 20 and the 51 up front quick. And it's going to be all about who can get in line the fastest. That inside line's looking good currently, but we're seeing side drafting the power of it. 3rd place, they cannot get away from one another, which is allowing our front 2 to just pull away from the rest of the field.
Give these guys a couple of laps to come to full speed, but when they do, they'll be at full song with Joseph. Joseph now staying to the bottom of the racetrack. He's now got Arden right there with him. Meanwhile, they're 2 by 2 by 2 with Flores, Green, McGill, Hamilton. They all play nice. They exit turn 4, lap 1 clean at Daytona.
Joseph, complete domination after a 51 pushing him on that first lap. Great to see, and that's going to be the biggest factor here tonight, is who is going to be your best friend to help you get up front, and which driver is okay with finishing in second place. Because if you've got someone that is completely content with pushing you to the win, you are in probably one of the best spots here tonight, because if everyone else is hunting for that win behind you, and you've got one friend that's defending, you practically can stop and stall everyone by side drafting with them.
Underway in the early going, they'll send it off into that third turn. Joseph is there leading the way. Then you've got that 51 machine of Arden right there, settled in behind him, Flores and Green. You've got about 10 cars single file in the back of the pack. They finally go 2 by 2 around Musati, Berger, Pattengale. That goes on inside the 15, 16, 17 spot. Now they're all snaked their way single file back on the corner 1 and 2.
All of our drivers in line except for one. Richard Springer did not get a good launch, found himself getting knocked away, losing the draft, the 6, all on his lonesome. Have to hope that that either a caution flag comes out or the stage caution can come out as soon as possible, because the 6 looking like he might go a lap down if we stay green through stage 1.
Working their way now back of the turn. Number 3 and 4, they'll power their way down to the inside of the racetrack. Nobody breaking out of line. They stay catfishing on the bottom with Joseph out in front. Arden second, Flores third, followed by Green and Hamilton Peterson. The man that is right now the number 1 seed in the playoffs, if you will, tonight in Daytona is Joseph. Joseph trying to punch his ticket to advance towards a championship. Of all the 6 drivers that are battling, he is the top dog right now as they hit the super stretch.
Everyone's staying in line, trying to pick and choose where they want to go until you go back to around 12th position. That's when we're starting to see Purcell, Huntley, as well as Berger slicing and dicing. And for these drivers further back, if they don't get in line quick, there's a shot that they could lose the draft, as that of Taylor Butcher, Benjamin, Berger's involved in this backpack. Championship drivers cannot lose the lead, as they need to make sure they're still in this front pack. We're expecting drivers to think about pitting probably around lap 14 to around lap 20. That's the window when we're going to start to see drivers picking and choosing when they want to come into pit road for their window. So maybe you might want to see 5 drivers come to pit road early, so all they have to worry about is their 5 alone and not the rest of the pack.
Back straight away, it's still Joseph leading. There you see now a little battle starting to heat up inside the top 5, if you will. There's Butcher Benjamin, as he's one of those cars in the top 15 back. That's for 13th and 12th. And Berger now starting to climb up through the fields, trying to get up under uphold. And while that goes on, Huntley's behind the machine of Benjamin. They come to the line. Everyone still plays nice down to the inside of the racetrack, below the yellow line. And they'll send it back into turn 1. Butcher Benjamin trying to make a run on the outside. Everyone else leaves him hung in the drive. No one can run with as he goes to the top shelf out of 2. He'll slide in under the inside and join that single file pack down the back straightaway.
Yeah, these drivers had practice earlier on Wednesday this week, giving them some time to try to adapt, learn different ways to make some passes on one another. And a lot of the drivers figured out you need to have anywhere from 4 to 6 cars at the minimum if you want to get any momentum moving forward. So when we see these drivers popping up by themselves, they're banking on the rest of the cars behind them to move with them, making the outside line work. But this has kind of been the trend with super speedway racing. It's a lot of single file racing, drivers just waiting for any mistake from the driver in front of them to move up, so then you could just take a position easily without working so hard on the outside and hoping you got friends behind you.
And they work their way to the back stretch. Everyone staying single file again. Pretty much just calm, cool, collective. Those 3 C's is what's going on with all these drivers. Everyone else just kind of being content where they're at. It's still early in the going. We're not even 10 laps into this race. It's Joseph leads them on turn 4.
Joseph, with him leading, I mean, his goal might be lead the most laps. He's already got the pole position award for himself, which that's 1 bonus point. If he gets the most laps led, that's another bonus point that would go to the 20, which would help so much. Coming into this race, Joseph was actually docked 2 points initially into this week after penalties that he grabbed last week. So for the 20, he's trying to get those points back, so he's on equal footing as Holden McGill and Jeremy Berger. Those 2 drivers have the most points coming into this final championship round with only a 2-point difference between our top 2 and the rest of the championship 6. So drivers certainly have to figure out, how do you want to get those bonus points if you want to be getting back into the action if you have any type of falter during stage 1 or stage 2.
Across the start-finish line. There you see Arden in the Lowe's colors, number 51 machine behind the back of Joseph, and that's the leader's rear deck lit camera. We're seeing Arden right there behind him. Gonna go multi-camera now. Awesome work by Carlos Acosta. There's the max speed at almost 197 miles an hour. Will he get quicker? Yes, he will. And wow, you see the draft. The draft, when you get a car tucked up in line behind another, that makes it really, really go up. When you're running by yourself, you're running at least an average of at least 190, 195 miles an hour. But you notice when you get drafted and you got one car bouncing off or a side draft, Samuel, that really makes your RPMs, that makes your MPH pick up to 200 plus miles an hour, as we just saw a moment ago with Arden in 51.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing the speeds almost up to 200 miles per hour. Really, the drivers from third on back have that shot of getting up to 200 miles per hour. Our front 2, when you're leading the groups, they're full throttle. They are trying to go as fast as possible. It's everyone that's further back from third on back to the end of the line. They have to be wary of entering these corners, have to make sure they let off just slightly or trail the brake, where you're on the throttle, tapping the brake, trying to slow down, as you got to lose about 5 miles per hour once you enter these corners, which could accordion everyone up. And those are the chances that could be bringing out the big one if drivers are not aware of how close you can be closing up these gaps on the entries of these corners.
And I don't know if you saw that when we were multi-camera screened, showing the statistics, but the today's event virtually is a daytime event in the afternoon. It's like 12:30 in the afternoon right now. So this race will conclude in daylight conditions. There you see right there, 12:28 p.m. Eastern time, obviously. There you see the weather conditions, you see the track temperature, you see the ambient temperature, you see the humidity, and right now that's what it's saying right there. So what cars coming onto the pit lane? Here we go.
Drivers having to come in. They know they need to come in. Cal Green really hard on the brakes, and it's drifting his way in, almost contact to that of Logan Hamilton. Luckily saved that car, but a scary moment for the first couple of drivers coming into pit road. That being Robert Patton, Gale Holden, that of Barrick Uphold, Kyle Green, Colin Stone, as well as Logan Hamilton, all coming in, and Jeremy Berger to add it into this group. This is a great group. I'm loving the amount of cars that came in. It's a small enough group that you can get back up to speed and run pretty similar to what our lead pack's going to be running, and you can gain time. If that lead pack with you coming into pit road, it can jumble up and lose some speed, which could help you in the longer run. Another pack of cars coming into pit road.
And right now, for the moment, Joseph still stays on in front. You see him crossing the scoring line. Joseph, Arden is there. Here comes another group of cars that Samuel just mentioned, at least a pack of a dozen or more coming in. That breaks it up now into 2 packs. So now we're looking at possibly 2 or 3 packs of traffic as now they work their way off of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Joseph holding on over Arden. Flores is right there. Butcher Benjamin in that pack. Then you've also got Huntley and Strofe in the top 6. Those 6 cars have not pitted yet, Samuel. I got a feeling they're going to pit in the next lap or 2.
Yeah, front 7, still looking 8, excuse me, as
here they come.
Kevin, here comes those drivers on our front 6, and they're fanning out, giving each other plenty of space, but we saw this during Talladega. Your car does not become translucent and able to drive through one another until you're in your pit box. So drivers have to be careful not to be running into one another when you're coming into pit road. As everyone seems clean, Arden's going to find his box. Same as Joseph. Don't want to be making any errors coming in. As Taylor Butcher Benjamin, you see the one He is all by himself. Disaster for the one team. You need a pack if you're going to be coming in by yourself. As Kevin Frank's now coming in on his lonesome, and as well as Richard Springer, both those, that of the 6 of Springer, and also of that of Frank's, who's deciding to stay out there. Both those drivers need to be finding themselves a caution here soon. Otherwise, they're going to be finding themselves multiple laps down.
Samuel, I told you this race would fly by quickly. We're on lap number 15 of 80. And currently, Butcher Benjamin is out in front. Springer in second. And Butcher Benjamin, we got to see him pit. He's not pitted yet. Springer, Arden, Joseph, Green, top 5. And again, we are about 5 laps away from 1/3 of the distance complete at Daytona.
Yeah, we can still see Butcher Benjamin and Springer, but Springer's coming in by himself. Butcher Benjamin can stay out here for quite a long time by himself. Still has another 3 to 5 more laps to go if he's going to stay out. But here he comes into pit road.
Here he comes.
Not going to be stretching any further as he's losing time by staying out. Don't want to be caught speeding. We've had one driver that was caught. That was Colin Stone, who now finds himself 2 laps down.
So Butcher Benjamin, the only thing is it's a lose-lose. He comes down to the pit lane. He's by himself. He's by his lonesome. Meanwhile, look at this battle through the traffic with Green, Hamilton, Arden, Joseph, 2nd through 5. Right there, single file. Here comes Hamilton, breaking out of line. He can't find nothing there. He'll weasel back in under Green's car as they come to the start-finish line.
You've also got that at Barrick Uphold, Peterson, and Holden McGill in line as well. So on ourselves with about 3-4 drivers that are in the playoffs, in line here, still with a shot to have a great run for themselves. And
for the lead,
shot possibly, as there goes the one, blown by himself, and he'll fall back to the second pack if he can get up to speed. But Taylor Butcher Benjamin, he needs to get up to speed now, and he's about to get blown by for that second pack. He might not have the draft at all after pitting by himself.
Butcher Benjamin had such a lead over the rest of the pack. He actually was leading, came down to the pit lane, made a pit stop, came back onto the racetrack, and he was still in the lead before this pack of cars led by Kyle Green went by him. Remember, there is the blend rule. You have to stay below the yellow line until you pass the blue cone on the back straightaway, just like in real NASCAR competition at Daytona. And in doing so, that made him not be able to pick up speed, and he got bypassed like a freight train, like a sitting duck on the super stretch.
Yeah, and also there's also the other yellow line rule where you cannot advance your position on the yellow line. So we'll see if drivers, that ruling is if you purposely go down and are not forced down and you try to make a pass under the yellow, you will be penalized of some sort, and you will have to give that position back. But if you're forced under the yellow line, you have to quickly come up in a safe manner to make sure you get back in line. Those are the rules to watch out for as this race continues on.
By the way, we're about 7 laps away remaining in stage number 1. 25 laps will be when the yellow flag flies. Right now, everybody's safe and clean and green. And another green leading the way, Kyle Green. What a performance he put on last week. He is still continuing that momentum down the back straightaway here on lap 18.
Yeah, I'm wondering for Kyle Green, what type of move is he going to make here late in stage 1? Yes, he wants to be up front, but could we be seeing Kyle Green get out of the way to try to give that position to Logan Hamilton to maximize his points that he could be gaining here for stage 1? They are teammates for the Dirty South Racing team, that of Logan Hamilton, Colin Stone, Kyle Green, as well as Jeremy Berger. So these guys up front might think about making a swap for our lead position once we get to lap 25 on that white flag of stage 1.
Laps continuing to tick away, 6 laps remaining. Very calm, cool collective, as I mentioned earlier, these drivers are. As there you see a little run down, closing in is Hamilton on the leader. Look at that! Yeah, boy. And thank you to Sound Art for sponsoring the L-TAC Cup Series, especially in the Championship 6 finals. Here they come out of turn number 4, back to the start-finish line, and we go now, multi-camera. There is Hamilton trying to run down Green through the tri-oval. And there's that camera from the rear deck lid of Green's car. And Hamilton is all the junk in his trunk.
Yeah, right now we're seeing 4 right now of our championship 6 that are in the top 10. Again, top 10 drivers at the end of stage 1 and stage 2 get bonus points, starting out with first place getting 10 points, and it goes down by 1 until you get to 10th place where they get just 1 bonus point, which for that of Logan Hamilton, Joseph, and also for that of Peterson and Holden McGill, these points are so crucial to keep themselves close going into stage number 2.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. As we continue to watch them work away off the back straightaway, back to the start-finish line. Here we come. 5 laps to go. Under 5 remaining now. Kyle Green over Hamilton. 5 laps to go here in stage number 1. Arden is there. Joseph is there. Uphold. Down into the turn 2. They hold their lines. And Steel Green. Strong car. Field bunched up in different packs to the green flag pit stops, and Kyle Green waiting for someone to jump out of line, but right now he's clear selling in front in turn number 3.
And looks like there might have been some blinking issues for drivers further in the back. Stefan Purcell had some internet issues. He was blinking. It might have been contact as well with himself and Pattengale. That has costed the 57 a shot to keep on running. Did not feel like using a fast repair. He is disconnected from the race. Stefan Purcell calling it a close here tonight.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. 4 to go. With Green, Hamilton. Hamilton the first in the green box. That is the championship 6. You have those Hamilton, Joseph, Peterson, McGill, Butcher Benjamin, and Berger. Those are your 6 drivers fighting for the championship here in the M8200 for the L-TAC Cup Series presented by Sound Art. And they come off of turn 4. Samuel Dyer back to the line. It is still Green out in front.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now at that of Grant Peterson and Holden McGill. What types of moves are they planning on making here? Because they could honestly try to make these 2 cars move if they can get some help from Holden McGill. Possibly try to make these 3 machines in the back of this front pack, try to make a surge up to the front, try to mix up where our top 4 are at currently, but it's hard to try to make any moves currently. I've been seeing a lot of drivers with this new aero package kind of feel timid on if they want to even try to make a move ever, because it feels like if you try to go on the outside when you got a massive run, just no other drivers want to run with you and move to the high side, which is keeping us still single file racing as we're coming up to 2 laps to go here in stage number 1.
Lap 24 on the board, 2 remaining. Remember, they got to complete solid lap 25 before the yellow flag comes out. As they work their way back into the corner, it's Kyle Green down to the inside. Couple of back marker cars going a lap down. That was Franks that just got past. Springer and Stone. 1 car out of the race is Stefan Purcell out on the racing position number 20. There goes the first pack. Here comes the second pack. And the laps wind down as they come for the white. 1 to go. 1 more lap before the green and white checkers in stage number 1 here at Daytona.
Drivers that are just making some simple swaps. That of Ryan Dingler giving position to the one of Taylor Butcher Benjamin, who was 12th place running about 2 laps ago. We are now in the white flag of stage number 1. So drivers, they are now all about getting back to the line and hoping not to have any mistakes. You don't want to use your one and only fast repair during stage 1 or 2. You want to save it for later on if you're caught up in the big one. As moving up, huge moves by Butcher Benjamin to get to 10th place. Just 1 bonus point. That 1 point could be his chance of winning a championship or losing a championship in just a couple of more races.
9 cars in that pack as they'll send it down into turn number 3. Everyone stays single file down to the bottom. Kyle Green, nobody jumps out of line. Hamilton Arden will not step. Here they come to the line, and it will be stage number 1 going to Kyle Green this time by.
Kyle Green, 4 stages in a row practically. He won stage 1 and 2 last week at Homestead, as well as winning the race, and now winning stage 1 here at Daytona. What a streak for the driver of Kyle Green. He's not running for a championship, but man, you got to be thinking, what if he was?
What a performance. The driver in the Busch number 76 machine of Kyle Green has got going on again. 4 straight stage wins, including in virtual Florida for that matter, all the way down in Miami, the home of Carlos Acosta, our producer extraordinaire. And then up here to Daytona, and he just took on stage number 1. And Samuel, you know, once we get the field behind the pace car, once we check time and it's scoring, make sure everything is correct, the whole cavalry will all come down to the pit lane.
Yeah, all gonna come down, get some service done for themselves. Might be thinking some 4 tires for most of these drivers out here. Could think of some drivers only going with fuel only. But under those green flag pit stops, we did have that of Richard Springer as well as Colin Stone. Both got caught speeding into pit road. That's something those drivers have to clean up. It's a factor to watch out for, as we are gonna step away. When we come back, we will go green for stage number 2. We'll be back in just a few.
SoundArt introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home by combining the best of 2 products: a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. SoundArt ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers. Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal, managing a team here in the dealership, is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
For stage 2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the L-TAC Cup Series presented by Tucson Sound Art, here for the M80-200 at Daytona Championship round. 3 races to figure out who's going to win the championship here for the L-TAC Cup Series. This is our first race of this championship round, and Kyle Green winning stage 1, continuing on from his dominance back at Homestead in Miami to now carrying that over to here at Daytona. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Wesley Outland and Carlos Costa doing production for us. Always incredible. And Wesley here tonight, looking like it's going to be all about who can be in the lead position, as we only saw one true pass for the lead, and it was while we were finishing up our green flag pit stops. But it's looking like Kyle Green looking good as the pace car lights are off.
Yeah, the lights are off for the pace car. Let's give you your full field rundown as we do get ready to come back for the green flag next time by after that cycle of pit stops that you mentioned. By the way, 50 laps to go when they make their way back to the Geico restart zone for the green flag restart in the beginning of stage number 2. Kyle Green leads. Logan Hamilton is in second. Grant Peterson is third. Holden McGill is fourth. Taylor Butcher Benjamin is in fifth. Anthony Musati is in sixth. Joseph, the dominator of stage 1 until the pit stops, is seventh. Frank Flores the third is eighth. Sean Dill ninth, and Jeremy Berger is your top 10.
Well, that's going to be Arden. Arden's going to be back in 11th position with that of Brian Huntley Jr. in 12th. Dingler in 13th with Robert Pattengale going to be back in 14th. Kevin Frank's going to be in 15th position with Ryder Strauff in 16th. Barrick Uphold in 17th with that of Colin Stone. And Richard Springer 18th and 19th, 1 lap down with our 1 DNF being that of Purcell.
No caution flags except one yellow flag at the end of stage number 1. And the Chevrolet of Kyle Green ready to bring the Busch Beer Chevrolet back to the Geico restart zone as the field nestles their way 2 by 2 like Noah leading the animals to the arc behind the toe of the pace truck. That pace truck gets ready to dip onto pit lane. We're ready for lap number 29 to become lap number 30 and the beginning of stage number 2 here at Daytona.
Stage 2 is green for the M8200 here at Daytona. Al Green, great launch for himself, and he's trying to pick and choose which lane does he want to help. We know he's going to drop down low, but it looks like he's trying to give a toe to that of Logan Hamilton, which Hamilton still side by side, not able to get a big enough run for himself. Kyle Green going to have to drop down low with Grant Peterson in second as they're coming out of turn 2.
First time we mentioned Peterson now stick his nose in the gunfight. He'll go up under the trunk lid of the machine of Green. Outside lane hung out to dry the Sound Art machine, number 12 of Hamilton. Losing ground, getting past on the outside lane. Everybody sliding down to the bottom of the racetrack. Hamilton will find a way in there. He'll fall back to the top 10 in position 7. Meanwhile, Green leads the field, all single file top 10 behind Berger to the line and back underway in stage 2.
It went from seeing Logan Hamilton getting the second place finish in stage 2 to falling himself so far back to 7th. It's going to take a lot of work for the 12 to cut his way through this field, and it needs consistency from some of the drivers around him. But right now, the one, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, having some connection issues, it looks like, up in third. Got to clean that up, otherwise he might be told to get out of the way.
Cars are back at full song now. Remember, they got to go into that bump draft once they start getting up to 200 plus miles an hour. And Green is back up to speed leading. Most Peterson second by less than half a tenth of a second. Then it's going to be the machine of Benjamin. Benjamin is there. First time we've mentioned him since he was leading and came down to the pits and then got bypassed by the field. Joseph now back up to fourth. He pretty much dominated the first stage of the race until Kyle Green took advantage of pit strategy in stage 1, and he currently leads stage 2 off the back straightaway.
I touched on the fact that some drivers were thinking about taking tires, others were thinking about fuel. About half of the field decided to go with fuel only, the other half deciding to use a set of tires, and you know, the biggest thing, the drivers have plenty of sets for here tonight at Daytona. Tires usually isn't the biggest factor we worry about. It's fuel and draft and teamwork in that aspect, but they did have 5 sets coming into this race. The one they started off with and 4 in pit road, and currently half the field has already used one.
A little Lincoln nod visiting the third place car of Butcher Benjamin. We'll keep an eye on that Mountain Dew machine as it still stays in third, but it was flashing across the screen. He now goes to the outside lane. Joseph can't bounce it open the door to the bottom, and they'll bring him off of turn number 2. There you see him again, missing, popping, coming back. And we keep an eye on Benjamin, who still stays in third, but gotta watch it and see if he's gonna have any more technical issues as he still stays in that position going into turn number 3.
Yeah, with Taylor Butcher Benjamin blinking so much, it's now kind of put that of Joseph in a precarious spot where he wants to get aggressive, get on the one's back bumper, and kind of move the lane forward, but he's got to kind of lay back. If the one blinks again, got to make sure he's got plenty of space so they don't find each other blink when the one blinks back into the racing surface, that they're not inside of one another, as that could be the cause of a calamity. Cars can be tossed or thrown around if you're inside of one another. Sometimes it's an easy, clean pass for the drivers. As speaking of pass, there's that of the 6 trying to make a move on the outside. That is Richard Springer, who's a lap down coming into this thing, trying to pass that of Colin Stone, which that is for position to be the lucky dog spot between the 43 and what would be the 21 on our screen, but on our ticker, the 6. As Colin Stone able to hold on as he watches a competitor fall back.
Yeah, you know, we show the number 6 machine, and actually on timing and scoring it is 6 of Springer, but it's actually the number 21 car on the racetrack. Shades of the 2014 Daytona 500 champion of Tennessee's Trevor Bayne with the Wood Brothers and those Wood Brother colors in that number 6 car right now. 1 lap down in P19 as they come down to the back straightaway with Kyle Green still leading, Peterson in second. Butcher Benjamin staying to third. Keep an eye on that ink and blink and nod issue. He stays okay for the moment. Joseph McGill, top 5, lap 35, 15 to go until the end of stage 2.
4, keeping themselves pretty spread out. Joseph kind of stuck in a little bit of a no man's land. You're used to seeing everyone on top of one another, really not giving much room. If a mistake happens, everyone clogs up, but the 20's got plenty of space in front of them and behind. You'd think this would be how the field's reacting to the 1, but it's everyone else pulling slightly back. Not sure how our top 3 are getting away so much, but it might be because that 1 issue and the 20 feeling like he needs to back off just slightly.
3 cars now starting to separate away from Joseph, if you will. Green, Peterson, Benjamin has now opened up about 4 car lengths more back on Joseph. And we are also approaching halfway in about 4 or 5 more laps to go. It is still Kyle Green holding his line, staying on the bottom. Everybody on the bottom. They catfish to the inside. Below the racetrack, nobody jumps out of line yet, just like stage 1. The same in stage 2 as we approach halfway. Kyle Green brings him and sends it back to 1.
And as we were watching the front row and how these drivers were trying to figure out how to stay in line further back in about 14th, that of Barrick Upfield, Runner Strauss, as well as that of Richard Springer, this group of 3 decided to stay side by side for a while. And listening over the radio, it sounded like Barrick Upfield might have been confused, as well as Richard Springer, on where they wanted to place themselves for that of how to side draft properly, but they lost a lot of ground as we're now starting to see the 97 Berger try to make the outside line work by himself. It usually doesn't work out so well, and he was in our top 10, and he's fallen outside of it. He's going to go to the end of the line.
You see what happens when you get pushed out of that move on the inside of the racetrack. When you get hung out outside, you see he's got to fight his way back into position somewhere. He gets between the cars of Dingler and Deal inside the top 15 for positions 12. And they work their way now back single file. But like you said, Samuel Dyer, as we see Blinken continue on Butcher Benjamin for third of the green number 1. The first car right there behind Peterson. 4 cars into the top 5 that are battling for the championship. 6, if you will. But if you get hung on the outside lane, you got to fight to get back to the bottom. Because if not, you can go to the wayside in a hurry.
Pit road,
and Kyle Green's coming to the pits.
Kyle Green coming in, a lot of smoke for himself, and he's going to go off course for a second there. Got to be careful not to get a penalty for an unsafe pit entry. But for the 76, got to wait for stage 1 winner. If you can get stage 2, the goal, be the lead car. If you are, you've got the best shot of winning stage 2, as at ourselves, multiple drivers coming in. Barrick Uphold, Kyle Green, Logan Hamilton, as well as that of Jeremy Berger.
Yeah, all these cars coming to the pit lane, and look at now the sound art number 12 of Hamilton exiting off the racetrack first in the 12. But again, now Peterson is the man out in front of the number 52 machine, Butcher Benjamin. None of those cars came down to the pits, and they will not do so either this time by out of turn 4. It's Peterson leading the train down to the inside, across start finish line, halfway home next time by in the M80 200, 100 miles completed, and 10 to go in stage number 2 at Daytona.
Stage number 2 comes to a close at the end of lap 50 for these drivers. So now the pressure's on. When are they going to come into pit road? Looks like that of Ryan Dingler is already given the motion. He's going to be coming into pit road, and plenty others, expecting another group of 5 to 6 drivers thinking about coming into pit road this time by. Maybe it might even be this full field. We saw Taylor Butcher Benjamin try to stay out longer than everyone else last time. We'll see if he's on communication. He is. And we're seeing multiple drivers.
Here they come.
Everyone coming in except for Arden.
Almost a logjam of traffic like you'd see on Interstate 95 to Highway 1 going to Daytona. They all enter the pit lane, led by Butcher Benjamin, and the rest of the cavalry is there. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for many as they hit their marks in pit road.
Looking at some of the drivers, I think issues coming in for multiple of them as Sean Deal gets into pit road in a poor angle. He had to reshuffle, as well as Grant Peterson had to shuffle back and forth. He might lose this large packs draft as the 52 missed his pit stall by overshooting, backed up too far, and he just had so many mistakes, costing him over 3 seconds of time and losing the front pack.
Yeah, tough break there for Peterson. We're going to keep an eye on them as you see those cars staying below the yellow line until they pass the blue cone, just like real NASCAR, just like at Daytona. When you have that commit cone, You have to stay below the bottom of the racetrack until you blend back onto the straightaway, and then those cars are allowed to pick up speed. Butcher Benjamin taking advantage of this, actually, though, as he is pinned behind the leaders, but Butcher Benjamin is in second spot. The 51, bottom of the screen, he's the leader, and he's in turn number 3.
Yeah, still waiting if Arden's going to have enough fuel to make it. It doesn't look like he does have enough fuel. He's going to have to figure out when to come into pit road. Right now, he's with that of the 98 of Kevin Franks, and Kevin Franks, he's already pitted for the 98. He's just working with our leader currently. Love the fact that he's got a draft partner. Yeah, he's a lap down currently. Should be able to get his lap back once we see the 51 going to pit road. As drivers still looking through, but penalties given to that of Barrick Uphold, Ryder Strauff, and Richard Springer again for the 21 on course, but the 6 on our ticker. Oh man, you can't be caught with speeding penalties twice, but it's happened to that of Springer.
Yeah, you can't have those things happen to you for sure, as you just mentioned, as we see the battle for the lead right there off of the bottom of the screen. The lap car is there of Franks. He's the leader. There's Arden in the yellow 51, the Lowe's car. We're thinking he's going to have to come to the pits. He's got to come to the pits. He does not have enough fuel left in that car. Second place, third place, fourth place, fifth place. They're all right there behind Butcher Benjamin, Musati, Joseph, McGill. And they're all right there coming off of turn number 4, coming down. And they're trying to reel in Arden. We're thinking Arden, he's on the back straightaway, Samuel. He's going to pit, so it's going to cycle back around to Butcher Benjamin to be the leader.
Yeah, I mean, if for that of Emerson Arden, he might be trying to do a strategy. We saw a ridiculous strategy this past Wednesday for the SMB Cup Series where drivers were going to be about 3 laps short, but somehow 3 drivers worked together to stretch it out and save fuel, and they had a huge lead where they actually could get off the throttle and save fuel that way. I mean, for the 51, he might be able to do that strategy. It's going to be a long shot, though, as he's only got about 2 more laps of fuel to hold on to. And if he's somehow saved enough, this is going to be an incredible run by Emerson Arden.
Just after halfway, 5 laps to go this time by when the field, the leader, that is Arden, comes back across the start-finish line. He's got lap cars in front of him, lap cars behind him. And that is the man right there in that yellow 51, down on the bottom of the apron there in the multi-camera coverage. Up top side is the battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth, led by Benjamin down to Hamilton and Musati to McGill and Joseph. All those cars right there with one another. Down the back straightaway they go. The leader across the stripe, 4 to go in stage number 2.
What a great rebound currently for Taylor Butcher Benjamin, running in second currently. At the end of stage 1, only finished in 10th place, getting 1 bonus point for himself. What a rebound it is, finding himself with a potential shot, if we see that of Arden have to come into pit road, a shot to win stage number 2.
Back across the start-finish line, you see that pack. Arden still in his own little world down below the bottom in that multi-camera screen. Bottom left, you see him. Lap cars in front of him, the 51. He will still stay on the racetrack. He will not pit yet. 4 to go in stage number 2. Caution will come out on lap number 50. And he is leading that thundering herd of lap traffic. He's in the middle, down into turn 1. And honestly, Samuel, this is a good thing. Believe it or not, he is saving fuel by letting the air and the drafting of the cars in front of him and behind him push him down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and he's kind of just sitting pretty absolutely okay with running behind these drivers, saving fuel, and being the 3rd car in line. You're saving the maximum amount of fuel being 3rd car in line. You're only being about 3/4 throttle to halfway throttle at times. So for that of Arden, he's doing his best. He's running about a full second off of what the leaders are running lap time wise, but yeah, could not stretch it. It's now going to be the 51 of Emerson Arden into pit road, which should be gifting the lead to that of Taylor Butcher Benjamin.
Trying to save fuel with traffic, you're exactly right, but he just ran out of time. And with 3 laps to go in stage number 2, here comes Arden. He'll come down to the pit lane. By the way, he is still the leader as here comes now the cavalry working off of turn number 4, back across the tri-oval in the start-finish line. And here comes now Arden off pit lane. Here comes the pack. They'll overtake him as a lost cause. New leader, Butcher Benjamin, Musati, Joseph, McGill, Hamilton now the top 5 off turn 2 and 3 to go in stage 2.
And look at that, Jeremy Berger, a driver that did not get bonus points at the end of stage number 1. He's going to be getting himself some points here, as that's going to be Frank Flores into pit road for the 23. Could not stretch it any longer for the 23 either, deciding to pit early. This is right before pit road closes. Could be thinking of a strategy for the 23, get some track position for later on in the race.
Yeah, keep an eye on Flores. We'll see what he can do. 2 laps. Pit lane is closed. 2 to go here in stage number 2. By the way, the only caution flag was at the end of stage number 1. Butcher Benjamin out in front. Musati in second spot. Joseph, McGill, Hamilton, Berger. By the way, the 76 of Kyle Green all the way back. 42 seconds back in 14th position. And he's about to lose his first stage in 4 stage races here from Homestead to Daytona, as it's Butcher Benjamin leading the way as they come to the 1 to go, this time by in stage 2.
Taylor Butcher Benjamin, a driver that is trying to just run consistent. One of the few drivers in our top 6, the other driver being that of Jeremy Berger, that have not won at all this season, but trying to make sure that the one can at least win a stage, as white flag in the air for stage number 2.
1 more lap to go in stage number 2. 5 cars right there. You see him staying in a blanket down to the inside of the racetrack. And there you see the 76 of Kyle Green. He might get overtaken by the faster cars. 5 cars are quicker than 1 when they're in a big pack. It's Butcher Benjamin down the back straightaway, overtaking Green as they're about to come to the end of stage number 2. And a 30-lap shootout awaits at Daytona as Butcher Benjamin gets pushed out of line. Musati goes to the lead. Joseph licking his chops, ready to pound the lap car as a pick of Green off turn 4.
Holden McGill, he's thinking about trying to make a run possibly on the outside, trying to figure out what lane to be in, but it's going to be that of Musati outside, making a move on the lap car, but Joseph just missing out. Contact made.
Wow.
Musati's going around.
Bounces off the wall, keeps on going.
Made contact with his nose to the outside wall, and with the speeds these drivers are going, could be some damage where he might think about making a pit stop and using his fast repair. Now the caution's going to wave as we were waiting for all 10 drivers to come across the line. But oh my goodness, Wesley, this changes so much because of the timing of the caution now. I'm wondering if the timing of the caution has now changed things to where Holden McGill could be possibly be getting himself the stage win.
So,
and it was the start of the cross finish line. We were just given the update, and Musati does get the stage 2 win.
Musati will get it. Let's watch this last lap here. And by the way, big props to Musati, man. Look at them. Lap car down to the bottom. That's Kyle Green, who honestly in the last 2 events in 4 stages dominated stage racing. He ended up being 14th, going a lap down, and there was Musati. Contact with Joseph trying to go 3 wide, and corrected, overcorrect, into the wall went Musati. Kept on going. I don't think he's got any serious damage on the car. By the way, Kyle Green is the free pass car, the lucky dog, if you will. So he will get the wave around, or the free pass. He will move back onto the lead lap.
Of the drivers that are a lap down for that of Frank Flores, he only pitted 3 laps ago. He could be thinking about just taking a wave around of just staying out for himself. But for Colin Stone, Ryder Strauff, they were hoping to be that first car lap down. But because Kyle Green got lapped there on the last lap, the last possible moment, Kyle Green gets that lucky dog spot as drivers.
They're all coming in. Coming in, I believe. You'd be a fool if you didn't. Here they come. Money stop, possibly. Maybe some of these guys are going to try to stretch it out to the end of this, 28 laps to go left in this race?
Yeah, it's going to be about 29 laps to go at this point as they're coming into pit road. Still looking like once we go green, drivers are going to have to make one more pit stop if we stay green through the rest of this race, because we truly haven't had a quote-unquote racing incident to bring out the yellow. That was the biggest incident we've really seen all race with the Musati contact and him getting into the wall. But drivers coming out of pit road, and drivers that stayed out, it's going to be Emerson Arden who is going to be staying out, with Taylor Butcher Benjamin, the first of the drivers that came into pit road.
So we're working lap number 52. There's 28 laps remaining. I'm thinking when we get the one to go and come back to the green, it'll probably be 26 or 25 laps to go. And I do believe, Samuel Dyer, the third stage is when it will be wild.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely incredible to see these drivers on how they're going to be attacking one another. I mean, we kind of got a small preview there on that white flag of stage 2 of the fact that Taylor Butcher Benjamin was running low, felt comfortable and confident, and then the whole entire field behind him decided to just leave him by himself on the inside, all moving high, passing the one, and kind of gave it a little bit of a spice there at the end of stage 2. Which was amazing to see, because usually in this package, you don't see very many drivers feeling comfortable that they can make that move as a group. You got to see, drivers have learned from that practice they had back at Wednesday, you can make these moves, and you saw it there.
The pit stops have completed. M8200 coming down to the final stage. This has been a comfortable race. No drivers having any calamity, so to speak, yet. I think we had one car, Stefan Purcell, in the race before the end of stage 1. But other than that, all 19 cars still in the dogfight. And now the wave around is being offered. Cars that have a lap down or more are able to take advantage of this on the wave around. The lights are off on the pace car. And we will get ready to go back for the restart. Understanding carburetor issues on the number 57 of Stefan Purcell, and that's what made him park his ride in the 20th position. It'll be 26 laps to go. Samuel Dyer, what do you think we're going to see when we come back to the green flag in the final stage here at Daytona?
I mean, it's going to be the really factor of around 20 to 18 laps to go in this race. Will drivers try to stretch it out to that point? Will they be trying to stretch it even further to make their final pit stop? I think the biggest key has to be make sure when you come into pit road, it is with a large group of 6 or more, and that you come in as a collective group and you leave as a collective group, and don't be caught speeding. We've already seen many of drivers be caught, and frustration has to be for that of Anthony Musini, who is going to be taking manual repairs still in pit road for the 49 after collisions after crossing the line for stage 2. Frustration has to be mounting for that team, as their chances of winning this race could be already out of smoke, as these drivers getting set to go green.
Anthony Musati, again, stage 2 winner. We'll keep an eye on him after he got in the wall. Let's give you your top 10. Emerson Jordan, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Brian Huntley, Joseph, Holden McGill, Jeremy Berger, Logan Hamilton, Grant Anderson, Sean Dillon, Robert Pattengill, ready to go to the Geico restart zone. Green flag goes in the air, and we're underway in stage number 3. 26 laps to go to call a winner in the playoffs, first round of the championship 6. And Butcher Benjamin, number 1 seed in car 1, sends it to turn 1.
Oh, we almost had a huge wreck at the start.
Wow.
Brian Huntley Jr. wheel spin at the start. He's already bumping the 20. A little bit of shuffling going on up front. The 19 aggressive here. He's on much older tires than the rest of the field. And that wheel spin almost had our first 3 rows, starting a wreck that could have piled up everyone else.
Arden Powers to the lead for the first time tonight. We start seeing some people go up to the top shelf where Grandma hides the cookies. The Angels Expressway now being used. 2, 3 wide. Berger to the inside. Butcher Benjamin is there. Hamilton is there. They're reeling in on McGill as here they go. Getting good with 25 to go at Daytona.
And all the drivers were trying to work with one another on the outside, but leaving that high group was Grant Peterson, who found a space for himself, leaving high and dry that of Logan Hamilton and Butcher Benjamin. They're going to be falling back. This lead pack, a total of about 13 drivers still in line here, working with one another, but they got to get in line quickly so they don't side draft themselves to lose the lead draft.
Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. That's what a lot of drivers are thinking if you're stuck in the middle lane like a hot dog between the bun. Meanwhile, top 12 cars stay single file. No one breaks out of line. They were going 2 and 3 wide for a moment. Now they go single file with Arden leading the pack. Joseph, Huntley, McGill, and Berger now into the top 5 as they'll sit it at speed into turn 1 to the bottom of the racetrack.
We're seeing a lot of bump drafting now from that of Huntley Jr. getting on the back bumper of the 20 of Joseph. And you can bump draft if you are centered with the driver in front of you with these noses. If you're centered up, you can give a bump draft. But if you hit either quarter panel on the right or the left, you could be spinning that driver in front of you around very easily. So it's kind of a double-sided sword. You got to be careful if you want to be aggressive and moving yourself forward, or you could be ruining each other's races here.
I think a lot of these driver spotters are telling them it is time to go, maybe right about now. Under 25 laps to go, 23 to go now when they come across the start-finish line. Arden leads the pack, slicing and dicing like a chopping block in the squared circle is the machine of Joseph. He looks high, he looks slow, he's a little wazzle-dazzle there for a second, opens up the door to Huntley. McGill also waits intently for the move and ready to pounce is the King Berger, ready to come after all of them and have it his way at Daytona in stage number 3 as they go to turn 3.
Looking at the field, just got word Anthony Mussolini is going to be, Musati, excuse me, going to be done with his race tonight, calling it tonight as he is done.
Anthony Mussolini, it sounds like an art person there. I thought it was Musati, Anthony Musati. Was I not saying his name right?
No, it's Musati.
It's not Mussolini.
I have been off all night, dude. I don't know what I've been having, but it has been a weird one tonight.
Anthony Musati is out. Tomatoes, tomato, Musati, Mussolini. It doesn't even come close. Anyhow, Samuel, back straight away. It's Arden, but an update on Musati? He's out of the race?
He is calling it a night. He is not going to be running out the rest of this race. That contact, saw how much damage there was on the 49 and just said, you know what, we're just going to park it.
22 laps to go. Here comes the field. That's a tough break. A matter of fact, they're coming into the stage 2 win. But by the way, Arden leads them. 1 car length, 2 car lengths back is Joseph. 3 car lengths, 4 car lengths back, and more is Huntley, McGill, Berger catching the rhythm. At least 1 car length, 2, 3 more car lengths behind the top 5, and drivers starting to go to the top shelf again as they work out of 2.
2 drivers did not pit under our last caution of our stage 2 break. That being Emerson Arden as well as that of Frank Flores. Both those drivers got to pick when they're going to be coming into pit road. Most likely, it's going to be in the next 4 laps, 4 to 7 laps is when we're going to be seeing both those drivers be forced to come into pit road, while the rest of the field, they can still stretch it for another 7 to 10 laps.
60 laps completed, 20 laps to go. Now make it 19 to go here at Daytona. They'll send them back into turn number 1. It is Arden leading the way. Arden out in front. Joseph in second. He's the number 1 man of the 6 drivers battling for the championship. By the way, as we come to 20 to go, let's just give you a rundown of the 6 for the championship. Joseph is in second behind Arden. McGill, the 21, is in 4th in the 21. Berger is in 5th in the 97. Peterson is in 8th in the 52. Butcher Benjamin, who was a contender earlier in the first 2 stages, is back quietly in 11th in the 1 car. And of course, Hamilton in the Sound Art number 12 is ironically in position number 12. With 19 to go here at Daytona, it is still Arden, a non-playoff championship contender. The Lowe's Chevrolet sent it to turn 1.
For the drivers that are further back, that of Butcher Benjamin and for Hamilton, both of them, if they're going to gain a lot of position and move forward, it's got to be under this pit stop that's coming here shortly. The pit stop, you can gain a couple of positions based on how fast your pit stall is.
Watch it little there, battle for a second. Huntley was getting a little bouncing bump draft off the 20 of Joseph. They'll save it as they hit the high banks into turn number 3 and 4. Everyone intently stays down to the bottom of the racetrack. No one jumping out of line just yet. Maybe it's not go time yet, Samuel Dyer. They're coming up on lap traffic. Ironically, it's Kyle Green again in the 76 with 18 to go into turn 1.
Yeah, and also Kyle Green, I mean, he got the lucky dog spot once we hit stage 2, but it's kind of just gone away. 76 is going to be going a lap down once again. And if anything, Kyle Green, we've seen that he's got the speed when he is in the draft, maybe he could be finding himself pushing a group to the win.
Being bypassed by all those cars as we watch those cars getting passed. Also, Stroff a lap down as well. 3 cars a lap down on the racetrack, led by Kyle Green. If the caution was to come out, Kyle Green would get a lap back. Here they come, cross this turn 4, down to the tri-oval, 17 to go as the field bypasses the lap car. Green from the penthouse to the outhouse, 1 lap down with Arden going back as the leader in 1.
Biggest question is, when do drivers want to make this pit stop? It's going to be the key factor on who's going to get the win here. As watching up front, it's Emerson Arden doing everything in his power currently, but he's going to be forced into pit road here in the next 2 to 3 laps for the 51, unless he sees another group come in with him, which is possible. Arden could be the driver that forces everyone else to come in early if they want to get a quick pit stop.
16 laps to go when they come back to the start-finish line, with now Arden leading. Arden, Joseph, Huntley, McGill, Berger. It sounds like a law firm. It's going down virtually at Daytona on an iRacing Friday night server for the L-TAC Cup Series in round 1 of the Championship 6. Arden sits up to the bottom of the racetrack. No one breaks out of line. They're all playing possum off too.
All trying to figure out when and where to make their move as we continue to watch these drivers. Our top 4 all on top of one another. Our top 4 within 3/10 of one another. And our front 3 all within a 10th. They are going to keep each other as close as possible. In one slip up, the big one, Wesley, we're coming to 15 laps to go. And the big one, we said it, it's not if, it's when. Well, the question is, when will it happen?
Driver hitting a little engine, as you mentioned. Sam Dyer, a little bump drafting going on, a little punt in the pants of shocking shorts, but they still stay single file, straight and narrow like kids go into classroom with their hand raised. Turn 2, down to the bottom of the racetrack. Arden stays to the inside. Joseph, Huntley, McGill, and Berger. No one jumps out of line yet. Now up the racetrack goes Arden. He opens up a lane almost for the machine of Huntley to get a run on Joseph. They're starting to bump a little bit more, but they still stay in line. Now jumping out of the move is going to be Arden. This lets Joseph cruise around on Huntley, reeling him in out of turn number 4.
Huntley gave too big of a push to that of Joseph. And what an amazing save by the 20. Would have seen his race just disappear in a second. Holds on and stays in second.
Down into turn number 1, 14 to go. It's Arden to the inside. More lap cars down at the bottom of the apron, going a lap down, coming to the pits. It's the 51. You're on board with him right now. Down the back straightaway on the super stretch. That's going to be Emerson Arden, the 51 Lowe Chevrolet, holding the field at bay. Back straightaway. It's Joseph Huntley starting to pull away actually from McGill and make it 2 different packs. Berger now reels them back in like bait on a hook out of turn 4.
Drivers trying to give each other plenty of space, expecting to see a lot of them coming to pit road, and here comes at least 2. It's going to be Huntley and Arden.
They're going to have to pit. Locks him up. He might have got called speeding.
Oh, no. Huntley going to go off course.
Wow.
And he is
off course is Huntley.
He's just going to get back on the racing surface. He is not even going to go into pit road. Yellow's going to wave.
That is a break for the 19 if I've ever seen one. Samuel Dyer saved by the caution flag. The 19, that would have been so detrimental in costing him a chance to win the race.
Yellow is going to be thrown for that of Huntley. We're going to be seeing it here on the replay of Huntley Jr. just locking up
And does Arden get a penalty for speeding on pit lane? I really think the 51 got busted.
You would think he would, but he actually didn't. Got a clean pit stop and was able to keep his surface and got moving.
Believe that.
So no penalty to the 51. But I think for that of Huntley, he might have known that he was going to get a penalty, so just decided to go through the grass, and the yellow had to be thrown there.
You see on the gyro cam, Huntley. And boy, it looked like for a second Arden was going to go to the grass, and quickly evasive moves by the 19 of Huntley. And you see him slip sliding away on the grass, and then you see no choice but for the caution to be thrown. And now Samuel Dyer, this changes everything. Everybody's coming into the pits. I don't care who you are, what you say. We're going to re-rack them and restack them for an exciting 12-lap shootout. 10 laps to go, probably when the green flag flies. This is going to be good at Daytona.
Yeah, Colin Stone going to be getting the Lucky Dogs position, so he'll get back on the lead lap. But yeah, no, this changes a lot of things because for a lot of these drivers, expecting most of them just to go with fuel only, if you take any tires under this pit stop, you are losing positions and you're going to lose a lot very quickly.
I got a feeling the entire cavalry is getting ready to pull in, whether taking tires, fuel, or both, or making adjustments behind the toe of the iRacing pace truck. The pace truck is going to be all by himself as here comes everybody steamrailing down onto the pit lane. Money stop, ready to go for the win in the race 1 of the championship 6. Couple of lap cars stay on the racetrack. Other than that, the top runners are in for pit stops in front of Sam Dyer.
Coming into pit road, it's going to be that of Emerson Arden because of the caution coming out, and with how large this track is, the 51 going to be getting the lead, and he does not need to pit again.
Remember, he pitted right before the caution flag came out with Huntley, and speaking of Huntley, he's right there outside of the pit box behind Berger, McGill. They're all coming in. Boy, oh boy, shootout at Daytona with Arden back out in front. That's the scenario of coming in, stepping in, you know what, coming in, caution coming out, smelling like a clean rose. That's what happened to the number 51 machine of Emerson Arden, and he is back to the number 1 spot.
I mean, that caution came out perfectly for the 51. As we have gotten clarification, the caution was thrown because of a hazard near the racing surface. Because of seeing the 19 come back onto the racing surface and not the safest way possible, the yellow had to be thrown for that incident. But now it kind of gives the 51. The timing of that caution was perfect for himself. And now the field has to pick and choose. They're going to be side by side. And the question is, who is going to try to make the move on the outside? Is it going to be the winning move, or are you going to be seeing yourself losing tons of positions?
We haven't had the big one just yet, and I really believe that it is coming.
Well, we saw in the last restart drivers that were on older tires. There was a lot of wheel spin that came in. This could be a factor to watch out for on this restart. Is
well,
who
not just wheel
doesn't
spin,
get themselves
Samuel,
out.
but there was also bum drafting going on. We saw cars going to the outside lane. We saw a little bit more of an opportunity of drivers getting brave enough to go 2 and 3 wide. Staying to the inside of the racetrack is about to be done and gone. We're going to see a lot of 3 and 4 wide racing, I believe, coming up here when we drop the green with under 10 laps to go.
Under 10 laps to go, and it is going to be a fun one. Got to give a big shout out to Tucson Sound Art. Tucson Sound Art, if you want yourself a Bluetooth a picture that is going to be giving you some great sounding speakers with a great picture on top, go to www.tucsonsoundart.com. You can put in your own photos, or you can look at the gallery that Tucson Sound Art has. Get yourself a sound art for yourself. Also, want to give note to the L-TAC Truck Series.
Yes,
that's going to be
trucks.
starting out later this season, September 22nd to December 15th. That is a Wednesday night league. And Wesley, trucks for the L-TAC guys, this is a way for you to get some experience with some of these drivers before the Cup season starts up. We just got word they are opening up Cup registration. It used to be you had to go through the trucks. They're opening it up for people to be registering for the Cups for the next season.
That's awesome. And I hope that the powers that be, Nolan Rempel with the L-TAC iRacing League and Charles Wooten and Jeff Stabnow, they get together and they broadcast the truck series on LSRTV as well, man. This L-TAC is an awesome series. I've enjoyed being a part of it the last couple of Friday nights. I can tell you right now, I won't be here next Friday night. I've got high school broadcast obligations. Looking forward to calling some football because college football and high school football is cranking back up for me on my announcing itinerary obligations. But I'll be here as many times as I can, but we are ready to settle it out here, and hopefully Wednesday night I can be a part of the truck series. Green flag in the air, Samuel Dyer, we're ready to settle it. 8 to go at the World Center of Racing.
9 laps to go as we've got that event started. Leading the way, Joseph on his back bumper, and it's Holden McGill. He was in second, now found a spot back in 5th place.
9 to go. That's hashtag fake news for me as they work their way off the back straightaway. And down to the inside. Arden protects the bottom. Remember, he locked him up onto the pit lane. Getting bad luck in that deal was also the machine of watching him going into the corner. Watching them, here they come with Joseph in second, uphold there. Berger and McGill, we're keeping an eye on all of these cars. Coming down to the start-finish line. 8 to go at Daytona. Arden is blinking as they go into turn 1.
Arden's got to be careful that he doesn't get caught up in any incident as Joseph as the car in second place. Flores well, full throttle because there's a slight bubble. You have to try to get yourself as smooth as possible. Don't want to be scrubbing off any time by wiggling back and forth as the 20 machine. Goal, try to stay on the back bumper as much as possible and hope that the drivers behind you, if you try to make a move, that they follow you to either the outside or the inside. You've got to figure out how to deke out the leader, which Arden, as the leader, his goal is just to hug that yellow line.
If you're going to go, you better go now. It is time to send it off turn 4 to the start-finish line. It's Arden holding on to the 51 Lowe's Chevrolet. Nip tuck behind him, less than 10,000ths of a second is Joseph. Uphold to third. Berger, McGill, 3 cars that are in the championship, 6 in the top 5 with 7 to go at Daytona. They all hug the bottom. No one breaks out of line yet on 2.
Drivers trying to figure out how to make that outside line work, and that of Richard Springer. Big move, contact is back. It's going to be Hartley Jr. Hard contact between himself and Sean Deal. Our first real racing incident yellow.
Caution is out for the 4th time here tonight. Back to Samuel Dyer with the yellow flag on the back straightaway with now 6 laps to go.
You're going to be coming out of turn number 2. You're going to be seeing the 44 just wiggling a little bit in the 19. Huge run. Gets into the back bumper, launching Deal into the outside wall, and it's just calamity after that for both of those drivers. But this is going to be resetting the field, and this potentially, with the amount of laps that are left, this could be putting us inside of a regulation green-white checker.
Could be, possibly. Huntley, bad luck just continues to happen for him. He was the car that I mentioned that got boxed in by the machine of Emerson Arden when they came down for the green flag pit stops. And does anybody pit, Samuel? I say 9.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anyone to come into pit road. Even if we go into overtime, you should have enough fuel to make it through all the green-white checkers if we need to use all of our attempts. But right now, I'm not expecting anyone to come into pit road. And with the timing of this caution, we've seen the outside lane have the hardest trouble to get up to speed. They've been struggling to figure out the timing of our leaders whenever they take off on these restarts. So for that of Joseph, he is in a terrible spot. Going to be on the outside of Emerson Arden.
And by the way, if you do not know what 9 means, obviously it means 9 in English, the number 9, but also 9 in German for no. LSRTV, Friday nights. It's fun and educational, Samuel Dyer.
Absolutely. Get a little bit of language classes mixed in.
9 in German means no, Carlos. Ole. Okay.
Wait. Oh, man. We did have a couple of drivers coming into pit road, but to no one's surprise, it's the 2 drivers that were involved in the incident out of Huntley Jr., as well as Sean Deal coming into pit road, getting service done. Kyle Green going to be also getting service done, but he's still a lap down, as Frank Flores going to be getting the lucky dog position for this timing of this caution. But Wesley, based on where the drivers are running and with all the timing, we're still going to be in regulation time. That means we've got a shot for a possible another wreck that could put us into overtime.
Yeah, it's going to be 5. We're at 5 laps to go now. 4 laps to go when they come back to the Geico restart zone for the restart. The lights are off on the pace truck. So that means we will have... No, the lights are off. The lights are still on the pace truck. I'm sorry. The lights are still on. So that means we're at least going to look at, Samuel, what, a 3-4 lap shootout maybe?
I believe it's going to be a 3-lap shootout to finish this thing if the lights go off this time by.
And remember, this is a daytime race. This is not nighttime, which we see a lot of races on LSR TV broadcasts with the series that are at night. The S&B Cup Series event on Wednesday. What a wild one that was, Samuel. And that was the final race before the race to the playoffs. Their playoff races begin on Wednesday night at Martinsville. But we saw a crazy event where we saw Logan Brakey finally break through, get his first career S&B Cup Series of win in 3 seasons, punched his ticket into the playoffs. And Samuel, I know you call the S&B Cup Series with me, just like we do L-TAC. I didn't know if you knew this or not. With Logan Brakey's win on Wednesday night, not only would it becoming not a points win, but a race win, it moved him up to the number 2 seed into the playoff championship race at Martinsville beginning next Wednesday night.
Yeah, for Logan Brakey, his whole entire goal, he was talking about it all week long. Whenever I would talk to him, he was saying, I need to win, because his whole entire mindset is I wanted second place in points to beat out Matt Dyer in that spot. And with that win, it got him that position. And
oh, yeah.
He was so happy and just ecstatic for the win, and then also knowing that he got second place in points in the regular season.
The lights are off on the pace truck now. That's not hashtag fake news. We're ready to come back for the green flag. And we're ready for Arden to send it into turn number 1 at the green. It will be a 3-lap shootout. We're still in regulation time. If the caution was to come out again, we would then move into overtime. Emerson Arden leads. Joseph is second. Jeremy Berger third. Barrick Uphold fourth. Ryan Dingler is fifth. McGill, Butcher Benjamin, Hamilton, Pattengale, and Peterson, your top 10. And honestly, Sam Dyer, any of these cars and more in the back have a shot to win this race as the pace truck gets ready to pick up speed, scampers away from the field as the Warlords are ready to send it with 3 to go. This time by to the Geico restart zone and shootout at Daytona.
And Arden's going to be on the outside, giving position to Joseph on the inside. Arden needs to get up to speed. He can drop low now as he's crossed the start-finish line. We are green for the M8200, and he's able to make the move now, but here comes the 97. Jeremy Berger on the outside, trying to make a move. He's got the 8 of Dingler. Dingler's going to get contact. Berger goes around, and they're able to hold on somehow as we're still green flag. No one spun completely around.
They saved it. I can't believe it, but they did. What a great piece of driving, and there's no yellow flag, but the racing has got intense. Arden lost all that ground. They reel him in like bait on a hook, and now the top 2 cars have started to set sail away from the rest of the pack. It's Arden and Joseph. One car turned in the wall. That's going to be a cause of caution, and now we go into overtime. Yellow flag.
Ryder
Schroff going in the wall. Oh. Yeah, Ryder Schroff in the wall.
He just running, and this is an awkward. He just came up and didn't realize that Green was coming up with so much speed, and it spun around. You saw how the drivers got interlocked with one another, inside of one another, and that's when drivers get spun around just like that.
Wow.
And hard contact for Ryder Strauff, who was going to be in position as well for Kyle Green. Both of them were in position to get the lucky dog spot if a caution came out, but because they were both involved, that lucky dog position most likely is going to be going to that of Springer.
Yeah, if you're involved in that caution and you have a chance for the lucky dog, it becomes null and void to the next in line. And, of course, Kyle Green will not be eligible for it because he was a part of the caution.
And it is confirmed.
And now we go to overtime officially, Samuel Dyer. This is overtime coming up.
Yeah, overtime for these drivers. We got 3 attempts if needed. And overtime just seems to always come around on these bigger tracks. And sometimes drivers can be clean enough for us to not have another attempt. But Wesley, I've got a sense we haven't seen the drivers be as aggressive as they've been in these last 2 restarts. I'm expecting things to just ramp up even more from here.
The old cliche, damned if you do and damned if you don't, comes to fruition behind Arden. They will stay on the racetrack behind him. If he would have came down to the pit lane, maybe some others would have played possum and stayed on the racetrack. Others would have probably came behind him. But honestly, Samuel Dyer, as we go to the end of this race, what you have is what you got. This is where we are going to settle things here for the finish of this race and overtime number 1 coming up.
Yeah, I'm loving the call. That of Grant Peterson. He was the furthest back of all the drivers. He's not losing any ground for the 52. Came into pit road, topped off. So if we do go into a longer stint, Gotta be wondering for the 52 team, how well is their fuel going to look like, as well as Brian Huntley Jr., who's in 8th position. Huntley Jr. pitted under our last caution, so he's got himself completely packed with fuel. If we go and use all 3 attempts, 19 will not have to pit.
Overtime rules is as follows. If you're not new to the L-TAC Cup Series iRacing League, there will be this up first of 3 attempts. If the leader takes the white flag, the CRN1 to go, before they go back into turn number 1, the race is official in any of the 3 attempts. If they take the white flag, they come back around, they'll take the checker. If there is a wreck on the white flag lap, it doesn't matter. The race will be stopped on the counting of the scoring loop based on the time of the caution at the white flag. The race is official. However, if we take the green and a caution comes out before the white flag, then we re-rack them, restack them, and we go again. If it happens 2 times, then we do it for a 3rd time. On the 3rd attempt, Samuel Dyer, whether they take the white flag or not, wreckers or checkers, if the yellow flag falls or the checkered flag falls, race is official.
Yeah, and drivers are going to have to hope that we do not go into attempt number 3. If we use all 3 attempts, Arden is going to be in a questionable spot, as well as that of Frank Flores. Both those drivers, well, they're going to be questionable on fuel for sure, as both of them have not pitted on the last 2 cautions that we've had. So they're going to be close on fuel if we go into a 3rd attempt. And the 1st and 2nd, they should both be all right, but it certainly is going to be up in the air if they are going to have enough fuel if we use 3 attempts.
Overtime coming up. Let's set the restart for you. In overtime, attempt number 1 when they come back to the Geico restart zone. Emerson Arden is leading the way. Joseph is in 2nd. That's going to be row number 1. They'll be 2 by 2 coming back to the green flag. Ryan Dingler is in 3rd. Jeremy Berger is in 4th, and Holden McGill, the top 5. Barrick Uphold is 6th. Brian Huntley 7th. Logan Hamilton is 8th. Kevin Franks is 9th. Robert Pattengale in the top 10. And Sam, as we mentioned again, all these drivers in the top 10 and even behind have a shot to win this race. Anything can and will and is about to go down in overtime number 1 for the L-TAC Championship Series opening round at the World Center of Racing.
Yeah, and you got Taylor Butcher Benjamin as well as Grant Peterson. They're going to be further back outside of the top 10. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to make sure they've got a shot to get some at least decent points. Again, this is not a final race of the round. It is about how well you finish in 3 races in a row, and it starts off here for the championship race. Drivers are getting ready. Our first attempt at overtime for the M8200 is green, as it's going to be that of Emerson Arden getting a great launch. He's going to be ducking it low early, having Joseph on his back bumper, and it's that outside lane. They need to get up to speed quickly, as they've only got 2 laps to try to get up front.
Second verse, same as the first, as we saw what happened to Arden on the green flag. He does the same thing again. Joseph does the same thing. He'll follow that pattern. Top 2 cars, single file. It's getting antsy in the back, and it's a hornet's nest with now 2 and 3 wide racing. Someone's going to break out of line. Time running out as they hit turn number 3. Arden on the bottom of the racetrack, and they're pulling away with Joseph out of turn 3 and 4.
Ryan Dingler was trying to side draft to get himself moving forward, but it backed up and clogged up, everyone losing time, as it is a huge gap that we're starting to see from that to 2nd back to 3rd, but that gap could give a chance for Jeremy Berger to get a decent run if they can catch up to them going into turn number 3.
White flag in the air, 1 more lap to go. The CRN1 to go. Field is bunched up 2 by 2 and almost 3 wide as they work behind turn number 2. But big gap of traffic there behind the top 5 cars. Everyone else stays to the inside. If you're going to make a move, you better make it now. It's Arden licking his chops as they're getting antsy in the back. Samuel Dyer to turn 3. Who's going to win it?
Jeremy Berger, he's got the run. He's finally caught up to the back bumper of that of Joseph. He's going to be the 97. Will he move high? He's going to give him up to the 20. There goes that of Joseph to the outside. Berger gets loose as they're side by side for 3rd. It's also going to be a mad dash, a drag race to the lead. Joseph on the outside. It's the 20 getting the win.
Joseph, and they're wrecking in the back. Michael Hamilton with Hamilton crashing. More cars wrecking behind the leaders. That's Logan Hamilton and a couple of other cars crashing at the checkered flag when it's said and done. Joseph, almost by 0.03 of a second over Arden. He had to make his move, Samuel Dyer, and he made it stick. Coming out of turn number 4, last turn, last straightaway, all bets are off in the 2020. Wins the race here at Daytona. And by the way, he's one of the 6 drivers in the championship round that gets it to victory lane.
Yeah, I mean, for Joseph, what a charge for himself. You see Jeremy Berger
we
as
got
well
crashing.
as Stone making some contact with one another as they're coming into pit road. But, man, does Joseph need to give a hand to that of Jeremy Berger? Because if he didn't get that shove and give it to the 20, I don't think Joseph would have had the run that he had to try to drag race on the outside on that event of Arden. But, man, what a mad dash it was. We only needed one attempt, and they got it done here at L-TAC.
Yeah, by the way, I think I said Lewis Hamilton. I was thinking of IndyCar Formula 1 racers. My apologies on that. It was actually the number 12 of Logan Hamilton.
Names.
Yeah, Mussolini, Michael Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. Anyhow, we know one name, and it's the same names are the same as their first and last, and that is Joseph. And he has picked up the win here at Daytona, the number 20 car. He's been in the catbird seat in all of the stages, Samuel Dyer. He just waited for the right time, made it work. He is the winner here at Daytona.
He dominated the first about 14 laps and got the win, as we're going to be bringing up the unofficial results here. As Joseph, what a charge for himself, able to get the win with a late push. With that, then of Emerson Arden to second place. Eric Uphold able to sneak by with a third place finish for himself. Holden McGill fourth, with Jeremy Berger in fifth place. Then you've got that of Brian Huntley Jr. in sixth. Robert Pattengill in seventh. Ryan Dingler going to be in eighth place for the number 8 machine. That of Butcher Benjamin in ninth, and Colin Stone finishing out your top 10.
Frank Flores III will finish for Shake and Bake Racing in the 11th position, followed by Grant Peterson in the 12th spot, followed by Logan Peterson, not, of course, Logan Hamilton, as I meant, Grant Peterson, Logan Hamilton, not the driver of Lewis Hamilton, 13th, by the way. Kevin Franks finishes on the lead lap in 14th, and then a bad night for the Busch car in stage 1 winner. After that, it all went down south for the driver of Kyle Green. 1 lap down, Ryder Strofe in the wall in the calls in of overtime. He'll finish in 16th, 1 lap down. Richard Springer in the 21 car will finish 17th, 1 lap down. Multiple laps down and out of the races for Sean Deal. Anthony Musatti, after hitting the wall at the end of stage 2, winning stage 2, 31 laps down, and out of the race early was Stefan Purcell, 64 laps down. Well, Samuel, man, a fun one here at Daytona. It was good. Of course, Joseph picking up the win. Always a fun time working with you, my friend.
Oh, yeah, it is awesome to be watching these guys. It's always a blast, Wesley, and just the start. This is the first race of 3 for the championship drivers. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Joseph in the 20, Emerson Arden, as well as Barrick Uphold. We'll be back in just a few.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Sound Art is elegantly hidden behind a high-grade textured canvas wrap, bringing together the best of sound and art. This innovative design allows for a truly invisible, high-fidelity sound experience without bulky speakers. For licensors and other businesses, we are capable of producing thousands of units per day.
We're using the highest quality materials to give you the best product available in the market. Everywhere you look, there's always art. What I like so much about sound art, that you could just pair it and play.
Ansia, your art never sounded so good.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers. Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the L-TAC Cup Series presented by Tucson Sound Art. We've got our top three up in the booth. Starting it all off with that of Barrick Uphold. Barrick, what a race for yourself here. I mean, you weren't sure if we were going to be seeing you out front, but late incidents came out, found yourself up challenging in the top 5 late. Man, what a run that you had here tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty good to get a good run under my belt. This is my first podium in L-TAC, so feels pretty good.
Everybody was playing possum for the most part. Barrick, what was your take of when we knew we were going to overtime and you knew it was going to be a pretty wild finish coming up?
All I knew is I was starting on the bottom, and my plan was to just hold the bottom no matter what. I was just trying to stay on the bumper and to the guy in front of me and not let anybody cut down on me until it cleared up on the outside before I could make any move.
I mean, was there, Barrick, I mean, I know you're not in the playoffs, but it's nice challenging with these guys. How nice did it feel knowing that you were competitive here late here at Daytona? Yeah,
I mean, it feels good. Like I said, it's a super speedway, so there's some luck here and there with it, but I mean, it always just feels good to put a good finish on the board.
Well, Barrick, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I think my parents are watching, my brother and my girlfriend and my teammate Sean helped me out a good bit there at the end. So, and shout out to everybody for running the league and the broadcast.
That's Barrick Uphold in the 92 machine, able to get a 3rd place finish. Good luck going into next week at Iowa.
Thanks.
And now into 2nd place, we find ourselves with Emerson Arden. Emerson, what a run. Well for yourself. You were up front, off strategy for most out there. I mean, what else could you have tried to do there late? It seemed like everyone else made the plans to try to pass you late.
Yeah, that's just kind of the way it goes at Daytona. If you're the leader, you're a sitting duck. I knew the field was kind of getting jumbled up because there's a lot of damage behind Joseph. That's what I thought anyway. And then they just got a great run on the white flag. And Joseph, he was going to get turned if he didn't go to my outside. And I'm definitely Joseph worked so well with me all day. And I definitely was not going to wreck him there, and especially because he's a playoff driver. I mean, he was just so good to me, letting me down to restarts. So I just, I tried to run him up the track, just trying to side draft him, but I was not going to put him in the wall for that win. He deserved it. He qualified on pole, I believe. Yes, he did. He qualified on pole, and he did everything right as well. Just put himself right place, right time, and just try not to get wrecked himself. The huge push from behind.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Emerson, man, what a strong run you had. Everything seemed like it worked out good for you. You were right into the top 3 at the end of all the stages, and you had a feeling, obviously, with the overtime coming. And I noticed the next to last restart and even the final restart, you got a big push over everybody. You went to the outside lane and you kind of scampered from the field. Obviously, Joseph reeled you back in. But was that a strategy that you were working on to try to do that?
Yeah, it was actually coordinated just because Joseph and I worked so well. First 10 laps of the race, I PM'd him that, I was going to pit with him whenever he pitted in that first stage. And from then on, I felt like we were just going to work so well together. And so I PM'd him under those cautions. Hey, if I elect outside, will you let me in? And he said, yeah. And that's how those plans came to be. And yeah, just so happy that played out. I can't also believe that a road course-esque strategy put us in the track position to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible, all the different strategies that we were seeing from drivers having to be thrown out. I mean, it just seemed like track position was the key factor when racing here tonight. But Emerson, we've only got 2 more races left in the season, Iowa and Darlington. Are you planning on showing up for those last 2 races?
This ultimately depends on my my broadcast schedule. I'm a broadcaster at Pitstop TV, so it depends if I'm needed for X broadcasts. But I love Iowa. I love short tracks. Iowa is amazing track. I don't know how many people dislike Iowa, just because it's so multi-groove and the bumps and everything. But I'd love to make Iowa. Darlington, I like more in the Xfinity car, but if I can make it, I'll definitely try to run Darlington as well.
It's been a great run for yourself. 2nd place, almost got the win there, but just came up just a nose shy. But that's Emerson Arden in the 51. Great finish, and good luck next week.
Absolutely, thank you. Want to shout out real quick my spotter Joshua Balliot and Joseph for racing me so well today.
As now we're going to be moving over to our victory lane with Joseph in the 20 machine. Joseph, you needed a push there to make the pass, and you got it from that of Jeremy Berger. A great job holding on to that push, but man, it seemed like you were being bumped around quite a few times out there tonight.
Oh yeah, it was definitely really difficult to hang on to. Honestly, like at the midsection, I was trying to just chill and like make my way to the end, cause I wasn't trying to do anything too serious. Cause with the way the package is, you have to really time your moves. So I was just trying to like chill in line, and I wasn't really expecting the bumps. But it was pretty difficult to hang on, but like it was worth it because I couldn't take the pushes up to Emerson or I would have wrecked him, and that would have been really bad.
Well, Joseph, it seemed like down to those final laps and, of course, at the end of the stages as well, you were right there in the cusp of things, right there in the top 3. Then we knew when the caution came out, the final laps remaining, it was going to get intense. We saw the accident. It wasn't, I got to say, we didn't have the big one tonight. We didn't have the big wreck that wrecked the entire field, but there was also intense moments in this race. And as it came down to the end of it, you were right there. Was the strategy to get around on turn 4? Was you ready to see what move was Arden going to stay up on the outside? And if he was, you were going to run the bottom. Berger was right there in front of you. There was a lot of crazy logistics happening on that last lap. Talk about it, where you were able to hold him off for the win.
First of all, I really wasn't expecting them to catch up that quickly because we had like a really huge lead, and like I thought we were just gonna stay like 2-car tandem all the way up front, and
Right.
they just got a massive run. And I mean, I was gonna stay behind Emerson like the whole time if they didn't come, but once they got there, I had to like block the run, and I had to go high. So yeah, that's how it like kind of went out.
I mean, Joseph, this is probably the best way you could have started out this championship round, winning the race, getting that pole position bonus point, and also just putting yourself in great spots during the stage. How does this feel? Like there's a little bit pressure off, or are you still feeling that pressure knowing that there's still 2 more races to go?
I still feel a little bit of pressure because I'm not very good at Iowa coming up, and Darlington's honestly a really big question mark. The track is so narrow. If you like make a mistake or someone in front makes a mistake, there's not really anywhere you can really go. So it's just probably going to be maximizing as many points as possible. I mean, I executed perfectly, got the pole, finished top 5 in both stages, won the race. That's a ton of points. Probably still not going to be that far ahead, maybe like 10 points ahead. But still like really important to execute as it's crunch time, and it was important to clutch up this race and get the win.
And that's exactly what you did. Congratulations, Joseph, on the win. And before you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I want to shout out Pit Stop TV. Emerson, he was such a great help. I would have been screwed if Emerson didn't take the outside and work with me. Shout out to Tucson Sound Art. Shout out to you guys in the booth. I was listening along. Did a great job, and it's still a pretty clean race for Daytona. So shout out to all the drivers. Incredible that even at Daytona with this package still going pretty green. Like most of the race is still pretty impressive.
It was completely impressive. Well, Joseph's your winner. Congratulations on winning here and starting out practically perfect on how to start out your championship round. And good luck for the rest of the playoffs.
Thank you.
Well, that comes to a close with us. Joseph getting the win. Wesley, what are some of your final thoughts here tonight?
Well, you heard Joseph say it. You heard Arden say it. We had a pretty clean race here tonight. Obviously, with this package, we thought we were going to have a lot of bump drafting. We thought we were going to have a lot of calamity. You have that in super speedway racing, like places like here at Daytona or even Talladega. But big props to everybody on the L-TAC iRacing League Cup Series. They got on the whip. They put on a good show. They stayed out of trouble, and it was an exciting race coming down to the finish. Big props to Joseph. But again, 2 races left to go till we accumulate the points to the championship. Samuel Dyer, it's always fun working with you. Carlos Acosta as well. A great time here at Daytona. It was a clean race, but it still was a very good race.
Absolutely. And big props to all the drivers on keeping it as clean as possible. I know late there, it's always getting intense. And still, congratulations to Joseph. We still have 2 more races left in this championship round for the L-TAC Cup Series presented by Tucson Sound Art. And it is going to get dramatic. Iowa, Darlington, 2 tracks that can be very tough and challenging for a lot of these drivers and are going to be the tracks to see who can get the championship done. Congratulations to Joseph, and for Wesley Allen being up at the booth with me here tonight, and Carlos Acosta for running productions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on LSR TV. We'll see you next week for the L-TAC Cup Series.